Hi everybody. Today we're going to talk about prepositional phrases. So prepositions are those things we touched on a couple weeks ago with my little the squirrel ran blink the log trick, right? Usually prepositions show placement, so around, above, near, but sometimes they have some special prepositions that don't fall into that same pattern as to, from, in, things like that, okay? So here's a little cheat sheet of prepositional phrases on the left, or prepositions on the left, I'm sorry. And let's talk about what a phrase is. So a phrase is a group of related words that function as a single part of speech. A noun, an adverb, an adjective, or an adverb, or a pronoun. It does not contain both a subject and a verb. Several types of phrases exist in English. One of the most common types of phrases begins with words called prepositions. Preposition is a word that connects a noun or a pronoun to other words in a sentence. A preposition is usually one word, but sometimes a group of words can act as a preposition. Below is a list of common prepositions, okay? So you might need to come back to slide 2 and check prepositions. Again, usually they're one word, so during, beside, between, through, inside, right? But some words are more than one. So because of, as well as, with reference to, with regard to, with exception of. This one's kind of tricky, but meaning except. So for example, I ordered a salad, I ordered a salad with everything but olives, right? Instead of but, we could say except, so anything except olives, right? So this is this kind of but. The other kind of but, not the one that's your booty, but the other type of but that is a conjunction, joins two sentences, can stand alone together with a comma, right? So you could say, I ordered a salad, comma, but I ate a large piece of cake, right? Two sentences joined together with a conjunction, and that second conjunction but doesn't mean except, okay? So a prepositional phrase always begins with a preposition and ends with a noun or a pronoun, which is called the object of the preposition. Between the preposition and the object, some modifiers may appear. When we are examining the parts of a sentence, we traditionally put parentheses around prepositional phrases to make them stand out. For example, the meaning of life is a mystery, right? Of is a preposition, and life is the noun it's connecting. So prepositional phrases are always extra information, right? They're not necessary for the sentence. So we could still say the meaning is a mystery, right? Or I found my ring among the old newspapers. Among the old newspapers is our prepositional phrase because among is a preposition and it's connecting I found my ring with newspapers, right? Newspapers is the object of that preposition. So here is your first task. Get out your piece of paper, MLA format, title it prepositional phrases, please. What you're going to do is copy down the following sentences, and you're going to place parentheses around all the prepositional phrases. You're also going to circle the prepositions and then underline the objects of the prepositions. For example, the winner of the game advances to the finals. Of the game is our prepositional phrase because of is a preposition. Okay? Bloop. And then to, we know is a preposition, so to the finals. And then to what? Finals. And of what? The game. And so pause me and do numbers 1 through 5 here, please. Alright, once you are done with that, prepositional phrases are never the subject. So prepositional phrases and any words within them can never be the subject of a sentence. Prepositional phrases always act as adjectives or adverbs, but the subject of a sentence must be a noun or a pronoun. It's easy to be tricked into thinking that the object of the preposition is the subject of the sentence, since both are nouns. However, when you are trying to find the subject, it's a good idea to put parentheses around the prepositional phrases, and then you can cross them out so they won't confuse you. Then the subject is easier to see. Remember, prepositions are non-essential to the bare bones of the sentence, so we need a subject and a verb for a sentence, right? That's it. Preposition is just extra information, okay? So the reason for his mistakes is not clear. We could say the reason is not clear, right? So we're like, what is the subject? What is the verb? We know is always a verb, so we know that. And then what is not clear? For his mistakes is not clear, right? You could say mistakes is not clear. No. Reason is not clear. So, bloop, bloop, we just cross out our prepositional phrase because we don't need it, okay? So, quick tip. Keep in mind the same word can play different roles depending on the sentence. For example, to plus a noun is a prepositional phrase, right? I went to school. Our preposition to is linking I went to the noun school, right? Now, to plus a verb is not a prepositional phrase. I like to sing. Sing is not a noun, therefore it cannot be a preposition, okay? Or a prepositional phrase. So here is your next section in the paper. If you hear that tinkling noise, by the way, it's my dog's collar. Oh, I'm doing my best on my couch here. So directions. On your paper, I'm going to copy down the following sentences. You're going to put parentheses around the prepositional phrases, and then you're going to cross them out. Lastly, you're going to underline the verb twice and the simple subject once. Sometimes it's easier to find the verb and then the subject and then the preposition, okay? That's how I like to do it, to make sure that I have all of the essential parts and then figure out where the rest of the words go. So here's my example. The purpose of these demonstrations is to teach you how to cook. Okay? We know that is always a verb, right? So we're going to underline is twice because that's our verb. The purpose of these demonstrations is to teach you how to cook. Okay? What is the subject? What is the purpose, right? So purpose is our subject. Purpose is what? Purpose is, okay? Sometimes you don't need a subject complement or a direct object. So let's look for our prepositions. We know of is a preposition. Blue. We know to teach you how to cook. Let's see. To teach. Is teach a verb? Yes. So, to teach cannot be a prepositional phrase, right? And then to cook is also a verb. Sorry. That was really long. Right, to cook, you're physically doing something. To teach, you're physically doing something. So those are verbs. That means that the twos that are working here are not prepositions, okay? Our prepositional phrase is of these demonstrations, okay? So we do that, and then we cross out these friends. Blue. Do we do everything? Parentheses around prepositional phrases, cross them out, underline the verb twice, subject once, okay? Do you want to do number 1 together? Let's do it. The photograph of her children is ready for editing. So again, we know that is, or any form of to be, is always a verb. So we have is. What is? Her children is? Nah. Photograph is. Yeah. So photograph is our subject. Of her children. That's some extra information, right? Of is our preposition. And, oops. What was I supposed to do with the... On your paper, copy down. Oh. Okay. And then children is the object of the prepositional phrase, but we're not there yet. Okay, and they're ready for editing. We know for is also a preposition, so for editing is our prepositional phrase. Okay. Bloop. Alrighty is our subject complement. So the photograph is ready, right? That's a complete sentence. We don't need the extra information, but it's kind of nice. Go ahead and do 2 through 5 on your own, and I'll meet you in the next one. All right. So prepositional phrases always act as adjectives or adverbs. Let's talk about prepositional phrases acting as adjectives, right? Prepositional phrases are always extra information that describe. When prepositional phrases function as adjectives, they're describing which one or what kind about a noun or a pronoun, just like a single word adjective would do. For example, the snake in that cage is poisonous. Prepositional phrase in that cage tells which snake, right? We know in is our preposition. In that cage, so that's our prepositional phrase, right? So that tells which snake, right? It's describing which snake. So that is describing a noun, which makes it an adjective. You should not submit a resume with a typographical error, okay? Prepositional phrase with a typographical error tells what kind of a resume, right? Bloop, bloop. Okay. With is our preposition. Bloop. And then adverb phrases. When prepositional phrases function as adverbs, they modify verbs, adjectives, or other adverbs. The same thing as what a regular adverb would do. They tell where, when, how, why, and to what degree about the words they're modifying, just like a regular adverb would do. Okay? So, for example, I put the report in the file. In the file is our prepositional phrase, right? In is a preposition, and it tells where I put the report. So, in the file is describing put. Okay? She planted the tomatoes in the spring. Prepositional phrase in the spring tells when she planted the tomatoes. The baker made the cake with a blender. With a blender tells how the baker made the cake. I was nervous about the upcoming test. Tells why I was nervous, right? So this is what a diagram looks like with a prepositional phrase. The diagram frame for the prepositional phrase is a backslash diagonal line for the preposition, extending slightly below the horizontal line for the object. Place any modifiers on the backslash diagonals between the object of the preposition. So we have our regular subject, our regular verb, and then preposition we put here, the just one word preposition, and then the object of the preposition, so the noun that the preposition is connecting to the rest of the sentence. Okay? So, prepositional phrases always go beneath the words they modify. To decide where to place the prepositional phrase in the frame, determine whether the phrase is an adjective or an adverb. What does the phrase tell? If the phrase tells which one or what, it is an adjective phrase. If the phrase tells where, when, why, or how, it is an adverb phrase. What part of speech does the phrase modify? If the phrase modifies a noun or a pronoun, it's an adjective phrase, and if the phrase modifies a verb, an adjective, or an adverb, it is an adverb phrase. And then look over to the left here. Quick tip. So remember the diagram position of the indirect object. That's something that some people have been forgetting, right? He gave a gift to whom? To Jake. So remember, that's where the indirect object goes. The diagrams for indirect objects and prepositional phrases are very similar. Because the indirect object tells whom, for whom, or to what, for what about the verb, the similarity is logical. He gave the gift to Jake is another way to say he gave Jake a gift. If the sentence actually contained the prepositional phrase to Jake instead of an indirect object, the diagram frame would look the same, just with the to, okay? So this is what it looks like with an indirect object, and then this one looks the same, but it has the to preposition there, okay, with a prepositional phrase. So examine this sentence. The meaning of life is a mystery. So the diagram of the sentence looks like this. We have meaning as our subject, is as our linking verb. We have our little bloop bloop pointing towards our subject for our subject complement, mystery, okay? And the meaning of life is describing meaning. So that goes underneath of our preposition here, and then our object of the preposition there, okay? And then mystery, right, is always an adjective. Of life tells what kind of meaning. Since it tells what kind, it modifies a noun. It is an adjective phrase. Sometimes a prepositional phrase can modify the object of a different prepositional phrase. So for example, I put the ticket on the corner of my desk. We knew that put is our verb because that's our action. Who put? I did. So that's our subject. I put what? Ticket. So that's our direct object. On the corner of my desk. So we know these both prepositional phrases. Okay. So what do they each modify? On the corner tells where I put the ticket, right? Since it tells where and describes a verb, it's an adverb phrase, which will go under the verb in the diagram. What does of my desk tell? It tells which corner. Since it tells which one and it describes a noun, also the object of my first prepositional phrase, it is an adjective phrase. It modifies the object of the preposition corner. It's diagrammed like this. Subject, verb, direct object, on, so put on corner, okay? And then under corner, we have the corner, and then corner of desk, and then my is modifying desk, okay? So this might be confusing, but it just takes practice. That's what we're doing here, okay? So you're going to practice this diagramming. Copy down the following sentences in your paper, then place each prepositional phrase in the parentheses and circle the prepositions. Then you're going to draw an arrow to the word the phrase modifies. Diagram each of the sentences. So, for example, the capital of Idaho is Boise, okay? We know is our linking verb. What is? The capital is. Capital is what? Boise, so that's our subject complement, okay? And then preposition, what words do we have left? We have the, and then of Idaho. Ooh! So of, we know it's a preposition. Of Idaho. Idaho is our noun, so that's our prepositional phrase. I'm going to circle our preposition. And then of Idaho is modifying capital, so that's an adjective. Okay, so our diagram for this one looks like this. Capital is Boise. And then the capital, and then put our preposition here of what? Idaho. Okay. I know it's really messy, but that's what it's supposed to look like, alright? Go ahead and do the rest on your own. Take your picture and insert it into the last slide of this document. Okay, and turn it in. We are going to have a review on Thursday. Okay, so I will see you soon. Let me know if you need any help. Bye, guys.